In the field of international politics, you have bullies, you have assistant bullies, and you have the rest. So, in the current world order, you have the US as the bully, you have the EU, Russia, and China as the assistant bullies, and you have the rest. So, Africa falls under the rest. Okay? This is Maurice Odhiambo, the African teacher. My question for you right now is, will African states seek to balance power, or will they seek to continue bandwagoning in the emerging world order? I think we all agree, even with the colonization of Venezuela on the 3rd of January 2026, we all agree that the world is going multipolar. And what I've described is the current power arrangement. But in the world of politics, it's dynamic. So other states will always come up, what we call the mid-level powers. For example, you have Turkey, you have Brazil, you have South Africa, you have Nigeria, and many others. So these mid-level powers will cultivate their power, just like in the village where you have the bully, assistant bullies, and the others. It doesn't mean that the others will not achieve power, okay? They will develop their economies, they will become powerful. And that is the story of China, what China has done for the last many, many decades, becoming a global economic superpower, basically transcending the US. You have also seen that India has overtaken Japan in terms of economic power. So yes, the world of international politics is also a dynamic world. So things change. And that is where I want to anchor my discussion this morning. The colonization of Venezuela has actually cemented the kind of world order that we are going into. If this world order was to be defined by Donald Trump, it would be a more realist world order where there's emphasis on sovereignty, but only for powerful states. But it will also be a world where what matters is my interest. How am I able to negotiate for my interest? This world will be a realist world, as I've said. It will be guided more by power politics as opposed to international law and diplomacy. Okay? The liberal international order, even though it never favored Africa, it favored weaker states in the sense of the multilateral system of negotiation. At the end of the day, power wins. But within that multilateral system, guided by the UN and other institutions, weaker states are able to find their space and are able to negotiate. We even talk about niche diplomacy, for example. This is where a state, it can be weak militarily, but it becomes known for a certain thing. Like Kenya is known for athletics, and that can be a source of soft power. Now, let's just move on a little bit. The world will still have to deal with challenges within the states, but also global challenges which require joint action, joint decisions, joint activities, joint institutions. That reality is not about to change. It's only that now the world has shifted a little to putting more emphasis on power and sovereignty and so on and so forth. Now, are African states powerless? Can they organize power? That is the question that statesmen in Africa, scholars in Africa, activists in Africa must now contend with. Africa is not powerless. Africa has power in terms of resources. Africa has power in terms of populations. Africa has power in terms of demographics. We have the youngest population anywhere. Europe is in a crisis. Japan has been in a crisis for decades in terms of population dynamics. Africans are needed. Don't let anybody tell you that now we are stopping Africans. They need us to provide labor, skilled and unskilled labor. So Africa has power in terms of resources, in terms of the things I have defined. So how do we turn all this power into military power? Because the confrontation is coming. Don't think that the attack on Nigeria was an isolated attack. It signifies the new world order. So the confrontation is coming. This is the time when Africa should launch the United States of Africa. This is the time that Africa should now kick out all the foreign military bases. This is the time that Africa must now go back to be guided properly by Pan-Africanist principles. Dignity for the people of Africa. Dignity for black people of this world. We must harness all those sources of soft power and channel them into military power.